Reasonable people can agree the International Criminal Court indictment of Vladimir Putin or arrest warrant is kind of laughable and meaningless. That said, Xi's meeting with Putin is not meaningless. And I keep feeling when you see Putin doing all this stuff, he has not yet met any real pushback from the United States and the West as he keeps ratcheting up his bad behavior.
Right. Well, I think one of the problems that the United States and NATO have is they're not able to articulate what their goals are. I mean, if the stated position of the United States is Ukraine should be restored to its full sovereignty and territorial integrity. If that's the goal, let's reaffirm it and let's develop a strategy. Let's allocate resources as necessary to get the job done. That's not what we've done over the past year. Putin has deterred us. You know, we failed to deter the invasion, but constantly there's this fear maybe Putin will escalate. And it's prolonged the war, it's prolonged the agony for Ukraine, and it's given Russia time to make up for the terrible military mistakes it's made during the course of the war.
Is there a chance that both Putin, Xi, and the Ayatollah all come out of this stronger as they have now been forced to cooperate more?
Well, look, I think there's a growing geopolitical realignment going on. I've seen this for some time, Russia being drawn closer to China in a partnership where, unlike the Cold War, China is clearly the dominant partner. North Korea and Iran have been brought into it. It's still growing. But, you know, I think right now you'd have to say the big winner in this war is China. And it'll be true no matter how it turns out. If Russia defeats Ukraine, conquers the whole thing, or takes another big bite out of it, China's ally has won. That's a plus for China. If Russia is defeated and is pushed more closely to China, that's a victory for China too.
Yeah, Xi Jinping wins either way here. Let's look at this from a domestic political lens, in that this has split the Republican Party, certainly in terms of how to approach Ukraine. A couple of the more vocal members of the Republican Party on both sides of this. Take a listen.
Becoming further entangled in a territorial dispute between Ukraine and Russia is not one of them.
I think the majority opinion among Senate Republicans is that the United States has a vital national security interest there in stopping Russian aggression.
We're paying for a war, a proxy war with Russia, when I've never seen Putin actually show in any detail his plans to invade Europe. No one has shown me that.
We haven't just invested money in Ukraine, we've invested our prestige and our credibility. So if we were to cut and run now, if we were to walk away from our commitment to Ukraine, the Chinese would point to that and say to our allies, how are you going to count on the United States? They're not going to be there.
What's behind the divide?
Well, I think there's a virus of isolationism loose in the Republican Party. I attribute it to Donald Trump. He hates Ukraine. That's why this is the focal point. The fact is, we do have key American national interests at stake here. It's been a bedrock of our foreign policy since 1945. That a safe and prosperous Europe is good for the United States. That's still true today. And if unprovoked aggression like Russia's can prevail against Ukraine, everybody else is in danger. I'm prepared to argue this on the basis of American national interest. We're not doing this as a favor to anybody. We're doing it because it benefits us. Biden's not making that case. His defense secretary said a couple of days ago that we were fighting this war with Ukraine to defend the rules-based international order. I think most Americans would say, the what? We're in this because American interests are at stake, and the actions we take will reverberate not only in Europe, but around the world. China's watching this very closely. If we don't defend a country under attack on the continent of Europe, I think the Chinese will conclude it's very unlikely we'll come to Taiwan's defense.
Yeah, or the defense of any of our other allies. To that point, we head into the weekend with Vladimir Putin having his military downed a U.S. aircraft. It hasn't happened since 1960 with the U-2 shoot down Gary Powers' plane, U-2 being the spy plane, not the band. When we think about this, has Vladimir Putin yet seen, or does he need to see, some type of meaningful response from the United States?
Well, he absolutely needs to see a meaningful response, and he hasn't seen one to date. The Pentagon is saying things like, well, we're not entirely sure it was intentional. Of course it was intentional to dump fuel on the drone. And it certainly was not intentional to hit the drone. No sane pilot would do that. The pilot's lucky he's still alive. But I think it was clear they were trying to damage the drone, bring the drone down. I'm not suggesting a military response, but I think something like expelling several dozen Russian diplomats would teach them a lesson. There isn't much diplomatic activity going on between us and Russia. Let them go back to Moscow.
Yeah, so far, Vladimir Putin hasn't learned any of the lessons, at least that President Biden has said he wants to teach him. Mr. Ambassador, it's good to see you as always. Thank you so much. Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.